What's up? Hello, fellow humans, Planet Earth. How are we all doing on this glorious video gaming day? Hello, J. Stopheles the first. What's up? Do. Oh, that. Oh man. I think you did it in the wrong order. You can use ranged sneak attacks on flanked enemies. Yeah, that was way better. Sarkor is lost. How do I know if I used... Let's scroll on... Oh, there it is. For people who don't press last time, we finished up the... I don't even remember. The old break place, whatever it's called. Did a bunch of... Token, did a bunch of inventory management, respect Ember, eventually traveled to this place, which we also definitely know the name of, which is called... Pelura's Fall. The guard stands at attention when he sees you, but his eyes glow with excitement. Whoa! I didn't think I would ever see a new face around here. Well, at least not one that isn't bearing its fangs or decomposing. Forgive my bluntness. Everyone's happy you're here, of course, but I'm especially glad to see you. Sorry, I'm just talking nonsense now. I tend to start blabbering when I get nervous. How does it feel to guard the same place for so many years? To tell the truth, I don't even notice the years as they pass. I just get up every day and do my job. Of course, I could go visit the scholars, look at the calendar, and be horrified, but what would be the point? Even before the demons showed up, I made a vow to defend the temple. That vow is all I have left. Really, the Socorus that I knew is gone. There's no use dwelling on the past. You're especially happy to see me? What does that mean? The guard looks around quickly to make sure no one's listening. I would have never thought I'd say this, but there's an important matter that can only be entrusted to a stranger. I think there's a traitor among us, someone who is trying to bring the demons here. I found a strange letter hid in a cave, and I think we need to find out who left it there and why. Why haven't you told Elindra or Katar about the letter? Just imagine what will happen if Elindra announces there's a traitor among us, even if it turns out I'm wrong. The damage will already be done. If we stop trusting one another, we won't stand a chance. We might as well leave the temple and let the demons finish us off. No. We need to get to the bottom of this, but it must be done quietly. What was in the letter you found? That's the problem. I don't know. I think it's some kind of code. It looks like a constellation chart, but who hides a constellation chart in a cave? No. Something's wrong here. Alright, I'll help. What do you need me to do? Here's the plan. You will go to the caves and hide behind a large stone covered in runes. Watch to see who comes to pick up the letter. I left it there as bait, and I made sure to leave everything else untouched. No one has come for it yet, but when you find out who has betrayed us, come and tell me. Why not set up an ambush yourself? I wouldn't be able to do anything without people noticing. Whoever's left the note knows when I'm here in the corridors, and when I'm off duty. If I suddenly disappear, the traitor will definitely suspect something. No, for this, we need an outsider. Someone who can move around freely. We need you. He also compelled to die. The journey to find the shirt continues, yeah. He didn't choose the White Peter, the White Peter chose him. And I would beat wives again. Stargazer. Patch Clarice intended love and care. Of a Stargazer. Ember
This
is.
war must end.
Oh no. Oh no, her frickin' bars. Oh my god. What a mess. I'm just gonna drag everything off. What a mess. Oh, she doesn't have her, never spells either. Her bolstered spells.
We'll make things right.
Can you bolster these? Automatic. No. Alright. Burning Arc. Bolstered. Red. All around. Right spell. Automatic. Scorching Ray. Red spell. Fireball. Bolster. Red all around. Red spell. Gold Fireball. For red all around. Red spell. Fire Snake. Oh, I can't. I would never dare make such a suggestion to Christian Bale. I'm in Endaline. He'll beat your wife. Regilical's best companion in the game. I really like Ember, but Rachel is pretty cool too. I really like Ember. Ember. I like the dog. What's up, dog? Guess I'll put confusion here. So that. Death Ward. Here. Mind Fog. Like I'm missing something. Oh yeah. Dimension Door. Wait, what? Oh my god. You just had this ability the entire time? The hell? Oh, but you can only have one pet out? Persuasion checks and personalism. After skills senses. A random master against a pulsar. Persuasion checks and plus different. Oh, that's not that great then. Use this instead. Oh, she can have both. The hell? Oh, So they learned, I guess. I'm just great too, and funny enough, Rachel acts like a father figure to her with the banter. You guys have beaten Bolshevik, right? Wanted to talk about some sport? Yeah, sure, go for it. I've destroyed Bolshevik 3. I've never had and continue to have no desire to play Bolshevik 3, but the hand played it. The what? Oh. I can take 20 on my next dispel a magic attempt. Okay. Good to know that we have that. Wait, so these bracers just... They give you Scorching Ray... 3 times better as a total caster. Why is it... What is it 11 though? Weird.
You're a good person. I like you. I think I did it!
Description highlight that reads, all Sarkoris, all our tears are for you, our lost land.
I'm gone.
In playing Baltic 1 for the first time and seeing Sarvok as a villain in it, how great it is, they should have made him the final villain. Want to see a mono Metal Gear Solid 4 fight between Dirge and Sarvok on top of the Elder Brain?
We do it my way.
Have you not played Baltic 1 and 2 before? Because that's the case, I'm not gonna spoil I'm not gonna spoil Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Legend Puller made in the simple but expressive style of style characteristic of Sarkoris. Only for Laren to save America like they saved gaming. Sarvok's story was resolved before Baldur's Gate 3. What Laren did was a travesty. To be fair, I felt that Throne of Baal expansion was trash. And really don't consider it canon. Throne of Baal expansion. Throne of Baal. I am the Throne of Baal. I'm reading the synopsis. Doo-doo-doo. Can I pet that dog? I wish someone would. I don't know, he does this thing nowadays where he just like randomly decides that he wants to he just likes this man and suddenly he's like, oh, by the way, I need attention now. It had a more compelling story than Baldur's Gate 3 though. I think. I mean, if you're playing. Wait, but you played. You're playing BG for the first time, but you played Baldur's Gate 2? Only reason Larry made Baldur's Gate 3 Baldur's Gate was because of member berries. I don't agree with that. I don't think I have enough. I don't think I have enough knowledge about. I don't think we have enough knowledge about their reasoning for making Baldur's Gate to discern that the only reason they had to do it was because of member berries. I think there's other reasons they might have been compelled to make that story. But being compelled to make a story for good reasons doesn't mean that you will make a good story, right? Like, you can have the best intentions possible and the best wishes and the most interest without that giving you competence or understanding or the ability to produce something interesting. Dark Story is so great, and all the origin characters that maybe Will aren't bad. Or Will, man. They had more planned for Final Act than Wizards, being Wizards say, said screw it and cut the massive portion. I think if Larian had more planned for a Final Act, that would be insane, considering that game is already like 200 hours long. I think they probably ran into problems making an early access game, which is why the front part of the game is so heavily loaded, and why like the ending is like the quickest part of the game. I think if they're more they maybe were supposed to go to the opposite and everything. I mean, if they did, then they definitely just made huge mistakes with how they designed the game. Just because at that point the game would have been like 100 hours extra, right? Which is just crazy. If they wanted us to go to do more stuff in Baldur's Gate, then they definitely should have designed the game differently, I think. If I had to do another part in that game, I think I would have quit. I probably would have given up. Champion, how can I help you? Can you take me back to Dressa? Remind me, what is my mission here? What are we waiting for? We came to seek counsel. Allura Stargazes can help us find the missing angel, Targona, while Elindra makes preparations for the scrying ritual. She has asked you to find out more about the worries and doubts of those who live here, and to provide assistance to anyone who needs your help. The inhabitants of the temple, its existence is secret. How did you find out about it? Allura herself told me about this temple, and about the mission of its inhabitants. The mistress of the Aurora Iobara and I may differ in character and appearance, but we are both angels and protectors of good. We help one another, especially when the matter involves demons, our foe of old. What can you tell me about Eliandra? She is the ideal priestess, a selfless servant of the goddess and her people. Eliandra discovered her great gift when she was only 13, and ever since then she has healed, guided, and protected the inhabitants of Sarkoris. I have met very few mortals who are capable of such abnegation. She has never married or had a family, but has devoted herself entirely to service. In return, the Shimmering Maiden has rewarded Eliandra for her sacrifice. She has always been the strongest of Plura's priestesses. What can you tell me about Katair? He is a warrior, and the strength of his spirit is unmatched. He has devoted his entire life to the cause. His resilience and dedication have helped to protect and preserve the temple throughout the madness of these past 100 years. However, he does not simply defend the temple from its enemies. He also provides the community with the leadership it needs. Eliandra inspires and heals, but that on its own is not enough to keep the temple functioning over such a period. I have to go. I wouldn't be surprised if they never planned to have Sarvok in it and Wizards insisted otherwise. I don't. Based on what I have seen, I don't think there's an implication that Wizard had any creative control over the game. I think I feel like Larian were pretty explicit about them being the like creative minds behind it, but I guess it's possible. I feel like I've seen explicit articles from Larian where they say that they had like creative control of the game. So with Larian, everything bad was Wizards and everything good was Larian. Source, trust me. I think that Baldur's Gate 3 has enough narrative problems that I don't think that anything. If Wizards of the Coast is responsible for the narrative problems, then they're responsible for like. Then they must have written a entire narrative would be my assumption at that point. So much defending Larian, this is me crapping on Wizards. Yeah, that's fine. I don't really care about the Wizards of the Coast either. I think that I would have to like read up on the. I wonder if they've talked about how they came to make Baldur's Gate 3, you know? Because the big question for me would be like, did Larian approach Lizards of the Coast and say like, hey, can we make Baldur's Gate 3? Or did they approach, hey, we want to make a 5th edition game? And then were they forced to call it Baldur's Gate 3, right? It's one of those things that's when they back, they had to run everything story-wise past Wizards to make sure it follows their lore and what they want. I mean, I think that it is necessary to work. I think that if you're working on someone else's franchise, someone else's lore, it's obviously necessary to make sure everything is lore compliant, right? So I don't have any problem with that. Like being compliant with the lore is necessary to work in the D&D 5e world, right? But I think there's a difference between being like there. I would argue that there are. Well, I guess. Well, actually, that doesn't matter because I guess Lizards has just canonized stuff, but. I think that the inclusion of all of the characters that they did from Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 were pretty pointless. But I don't think I would blame that on Larian, because ultimately I think Wizards made things I think that what Wizards of the Coast have done with Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 lore isn't that interesting, and there's nothing Larian can do about that, you know? Like, the Wizards of the Coast made choices for what is canon. They decided, oh, this is canon, this happened, and then this happened, and this is what happened, right? So from that perspective, they don't have much choice. Larian doesn't have much choice to make anything interesting out of it. But I feel like with how Larian does their writing, I don't think I would blame like Sarvok on Lizards of the Coast. I feel like that's probably a Larian insertion that just didn't hit right. That feels a little bit member berries to me for sure. Like, oh, member Sarvok? I don't think Sarvok should have been the main villain, but I guess what I'll say is I don't think Sarvok should have been the main villain, but I don't think he should have been in the game to begin with. But I think that if they wanted Sarvok in the game, I agree he should have been the main villain. I think I feel like it makes very little sense to bring Sarvok back and then just have him be like a random throw-off in a one random place in the game, right? Like... What? I finished talking to I haven't. Why did you ask me to talk to Temple's inhabitants? Are you worried about something? My request to you was made on impulse. To put it simply, a heavy burden has been placed on our shoulders, and it is easy to grow weary. We not only live in complete isolation, but we have done so for a very long time. An entire lifetime for some races. I'm afraid many will be broken by this ordeal, if they have not been already. It would be easier if I could be dispassionate, like Kater, but I cannot. I worry for those in my care. I feel like a mother who cannot protect her children from a pain and grief. When I saw you, I hoped you'd be a breath of fresh air, that your presence would renew and restore our spirits. Bella! Tell me about your mission. Why did you decide to remain here in the World Wound? This temple has been blessed by Plura. Whether it is day or night, the stars are always visible, within the heart of this sanctuary. It is why those who study the stars conduct their observations here. Moreover, if you ever hope to understand the World Wound, the only place to study it is within its very borders. If you leave Plura's fall, all the work we have done over the past 100 years will be lost. You may be wondering why this work is so important. The answer is simple. We're looking for a way to heal the World Wound once and for all. Through our many years of study, we have discovered that the World Wound cannot be closed like an ordinary portal or a planar gate because it's too much like a living creature, always growing and changing. The World Wound does not simply exist on its own. There's something else that sustains it, and until we understand what that is, our efforts to close it will never succeed. However, we have achieved much over the years. We've disproved numerous theories and trialed various research methods. Tracking oscillating energy levels across the World Wound led us to an important discovery. The World Wound has a heart of sorts, at the place where the wound was first opened, the Threshold's fortress. We also found a way to weaken the heart, along with the demons that inhabit it. We will imbue a mighty artifact with both the power given to us by Plura and the memory of the priests of Sarkoris. It will weaken the connection between the Threshold's fortress and the Abyss. This artifact will clear the sky above the fortress and set the sacred North stars ablaze. Even if it doesn't heal the wound, it will give strength to those attacking the monster's heart. Bella! Tell me about Sarkoris. The argument ended, dog disagrees, dog is the final bark. I mean, it's storytelling, right? So there's no like right or wrong here. Ultimately, I think that Baldur's Gate 3 has a pretty lackluster story, but I would put the majority of that blame on early access, not on Wizards or Larian. Though I guess Larian is meant for early access. I think that Larian doing early access forced them into a. I think some of the stuff you can put in Larian, but I think early access forced them into like a weird. Forced them into a weird position where they didn't want to reveal too much story in Act 1, because that's what they had in early access. And they kept adding to Act 1, right? Because that's the early access part, and they wanted people to play early access. That made early access that made Act 1 really, really bloated and big, without really advancing the story in many considerable ways. How they wrote Baldur's Gate 3 Starbuck, it really felt like someone's edgy fanfiction take. I don't know. I think it's pretty compatible with Baldur's Gate 1, really. I think it's compatible with Evil Starbuck for sure, but it just doesn't feel like it fits so much. It certainly makes sense to his character in previous games. He despised Baal and sought to take his throne over anything else. So joking, I still think Baldur's Gate 3 is a masterpiece, but it does have serious story problems. I think Baldur's Gate 3 is pretty good. But again, kom på fanget da. Kom her da. Kom. Kom da. Kom da. Her. I think I wouldn't call Baldur's Gate 3 a masterpiece, but I do think the game is pretty good. And I do think the game is pretty good, and I think the story is like the biggest problem with it. I think the characters are extremely well written. Province are located Baal and was never a cultist. He was power hungry psychopath that wanted to take his throne, not worship him. Yeah, which is fair. But Sarvok is such a minor part of Baldur's Gate 3 still, right? That is just like, eh. That's kind of that's the kind of the problem, though, right? It's like Sarvok should be like a game. Go again. Her. Snu deg. Gå igjen. Snu deg. Sarvok should be like a game changer, right? Like Sarvok in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 is one of the prime not in Baldur's Gate 2 so much, but in Baldur's Gate 1 it's a primary antagonist. He's the reason everything is happening, and he's a big boy, right? So it does make sense to introduce him again and just have him be like a minor dude that's just like doing nothing, right? Like when you have big characters that do big things, then you kind of expect them to keep doing big things. And I think I don't know, but Baldur's Gate 3 feels a little bit to me like a story made in steps, and stories made in steps can run into problems, which is what I feel like they did, where it's like you have in Baldur's Gate 3 you have like you start a game and there's not really any primary antagonists. There's just a mystery about a tadpole in your head, and that's kind of it. Then you get to Act 2, and then you finally meet your first villain, the guy you've heard about the entire time. And then you kill him in like 30 minutes, and then as you're killing him, it's revealed that, well, there's actually 2 more villains. And then you travel to Baldur's Gate 3, and you reach Act 3, and then you find out that, oh, here's the 2 villains, and then you talk to them like twice, and then you kill them, and then it's revealed that, no, they're not actually the villains. There was another villain that was responsible for their actions. And then you kill that villain an hour later, and that's the game. Like in this, like if you look at this game, if you look at Wrath of the Righteous, the Skari, as far as I'm aware, there could be a person behind the Skari, of course, but the Skari is the villain, right? He shows up at the start, he cuts the head off a dragon, and he's like, I'm him. And then I haven't encountered him since, but he's still like, it's clear what I'm doing here, right? I'm not like I'm not encountering new main villains over and over and over again. But that dog, I don't have a choice because he's being extremely clingy right now. Main characters are Dirge and Lisa on the game. If you play Tav, yeah, it's strange, then it feels weird. Well, I haven't done a Dirge playthrough yet, but I mean, Larian even recommended not to do a Dirge playthrough your first playthrough, right? So, Lae'zel is probably the best companion, though. She's probably the companion that has like she's probably the most believable companion. Aliana's face lights up with a smile. It was a wonderful land, even if many thought it savage and wild. It still lives in my memory, as if nothing has changed. I can see the barges gliding across the surface of the lake. I can smell the fresh air and feel the wind on my skin as it moves through the green forests. The chorus was never ruled solely by one person, nor was it governed by a single faith. Clans lived in accordance with their own customs and settled important issues through lively debates and communal meetings. Matters involving the whole country were decided in Iz by a gathering of the elders, priests and druids, and chieftains. We worshipped Erastil and Pelura, the spirits of the honorable ancestors, and the sanctity of nature, and a dozen different deities and magical creatures. That is what Sarkoris was, a land of freedom. However, Elindar's eyes grow sad. That freedom was not extended to all. As I think you know, only the magic of druids, priests, and other divine spellcasters was considered honorable. Those who used arcane magic were treated with suspicion, which grew into hatred. It grieves me to remember this, for our hatred was returned to us in full when the witch Arelu took vengeance on those who had hurt her. What do you know about Arelu and the opening of the world wound? More than some, but not as much as I would wish. I've been to the Threshold, the fortress where the outlaw spellcasters were held, and where Arelu conducted her monstrous ritual. I even saw the betrayer in the flesh, though only briefly. Arelu was rumored to be a dangerous witch. For many years she had lived in isolation, carrying out strange experiments in deliberate obscurity, but she was noticed in the end. The best witch hunters tried to capture her, and it is said that many of them perished in the attempt. But when I saw her, she was no longer a dangerous enemy. After many days in a dungeon, she was nothing more than a pale shadow. I was told her spirit was already broken when she was brought to the Threshold, and she was gave the guards no trouble. However, I think it is safe to say now that her compliance was simply a ruse, a cunning deception. When the wound opened, it shook the world. My Lady Pelura, in her heavenly wisdom, was one of the first to realize the magnitude of the threat, and sent her priests a vision, along with an order to run and hide. But many couldn't find it within them to obey this order. How could they leave their beloved homeland, their homes, family, and friends? Many of my brothers and sisters perished, losing hopeless fights against wave after wave of demons. I was destined for a different fate, and so was my shrine. Lady Pelura hid it from the eyes of the demons. I had a vision telling me about the work that needed to be done to avenge the false Arcoris and rid the world of the world wound. That was when I learned that this difficult task would take a century to complete, and that it would require us to make many sacrifices, but I was willing. There's Celestials as well as mortals here at the temple. Yes, of course. The priestess nods to the winged creature standing nearby and smile back at her. And they smile back at her. Angels and Asatas from the court of Lady Pelura often visit the temple in its days of glory. When this place was hidden away, and we were given our mission, some of them decided to stay and support us. Like us, they have not gone beyond these walls for 100 years. They help us here in the temple, and of course, we are all united in our desire to heal the world wound. Arashel looks at the Asatas with a wistful delight, but she turns away, seemingly shy, as soon as they return her gaze. Hey, Debatron, what's up? How are you doing? This is the only companion who's having the biggest adventure of their life. For all other companions, it's like Tuesday. I mean, yeah, Shadowheart a little bit too, though, right? So I say Lysel is because she's the companion that Shadowheart is directly tied to and is most directly involved with the Mind Flayers. I think Shadowheart has a pretty normal story as well. What's up, Velvet? Hello, hello. Good luck to you. Do not hesitate to contact me if you need anything. You can also rest in the guard's room when you're tired. Do not worry, Commander. The corruption of the Abyss cannot reach you here. Our temple is built on holy ground beneath the stars of Pelura. I am Endaline W. How's yours? What is that? What's happening, Debatron? I don't know, I think, a schedule list of daily responsibilities of the Stargates and Guards. The schedule is packed so tightly that those who adhere to it may have little time to think of anything else. I think that, I think they made a mistake in Baldur's Gate 3 by, like, making all the characters so super important and awesome. Like, if you look at this game, we have, like, a lot of, like, pretty ordinary characters there overall, I feel like. Like, Olbrich wasn't, like, you know, he wasn't a god of war before he joined our band. He was just some dude, maybe a chieftain, who who was whisked away by a minor deity. Rachel is just a commander of a small band of Hell Knights. Or Rochelle was just a succubus, which, I mean, a succubus is a pretty big deal, but Nenio, literally just a girl that walks around and takes notes. Ember was a chick burn on the fire, right? Like, I have carrot cake for breakfast, damn. I'm debbing and farting and Tron in my pants. Just overly wrecked from various angles. Hey, but food is in the oven, so that's something to look forward to. What are you eating? Like yoga, yeah, Deb just did a lot of yoga. A table set with bowls of unappetizing conjured food. A glass of water is clearly intended to be a feast, though it's rather austere fare. This is pretty good. The dwarf looks critically at the table that's been set for a feast. There are plates, cutlery, still no nice cups, though. Just to wrap the present. And the dwarf notices you and gives you a friendly smile. We finally have guests in our quiet abode. Please come in, have a glass of water. Unfortunately, there's nothing else I can offer you, but our water is of the very purest quality. I'm Odin, by the way, a stargazer at your service. What's the occasion? My daughter, Ranhill, turns 125 today. Such an important day calls for an important gift. But where could I get such a present? Well, luckily there's some soft stone in the local caves, and I've carved her a clasp for a cloak. Came out alright, I think. Of course, when we complete our sword ritual, I'll get her something better. It seems like only yesterday she was running around in her little shift, asking me to toss her in the air, and now 125. How time flies. Where's the guest of honor? Odin wilts slightly. Truth be told, I don't know. I can only hope she's in a safe place with her mother and aunts. Do you see the package in the corner? Those are all her gifts. I never had a chance to give her. I suppose she's outgrown most of them. But what if I'm a grandpa now, eh? My grandchildren could have them. I wish I knew for sure. Odin pauses to think. Wait, you're from Dresden. You must know about Winter Sun Village. There's a temple of Gorham there 100 years ago. Maybe she's still there. I know that priests of Gorham were hiding my family and other refugees when the invasion began. Please, go to the temple and search for anything or anyone that might provide answers about what happened to my family. Even if the truth is bitter, I want to know. I can't remain in blissful ignorance forever. Very well, I'll find your daughter. You're putting aside your own important affair just to help me. I don't know how to thank you. Odin gives you a small package. It's been carefully wrapped in parchment and tied neatly with a string. If you find Ranhill, please give this to her. Let her know that her father always remembers her birthday. I give her all my love and good wishes. Your water is very rare in the wound. Do not underestimate its value. Of course, of course. But from time to time, something strange wouldn't hurt, eh? Odin chuckles good-naturedly. But we have strict rules about such things. A stargazer can't be seen double, can he? I have to go. I have hot chippies and some sort of mashed potato. Oh, sorry, Logan. Oh. Mashies. I got it for my daughters, but they don't like it, so now I need to eat the whole cake whilst they're at school. A school hard life. Thank you for your sacrifice. The burden of mother is high. Now you can keep getting the carrot cake and be like, what? You guys don't want this? Well, I guess I have to eat it then. A rack filled with what looks to be ancient or current weapons. Stargate.
There's something here.
Okay. A funerary dagger of Sarkorian chieftain, the hilt bears the following epitaph. I am the mighty chief Aragao the Saint. I fought like a dragon on behalf of my clan, but in the end I left the world behind and devoted myself to Polura. Okay. Oh no, sorry kids, they only had carrot cakes at times. I know the feeling, but not my first time eating a whole cake for breakfast. A pale young man is staring at you. Incredible! I didn't think anyone could find this place. You are a gift from heaven. Oh, I mean, forgive my rudeness. I am Regnard, a stargazer. I'm very pleased to meet you. I think you might be the only one who can help me. Why am I the only one who can help you? The undead roam near the entrance to our caves. They were once great warriors, but now they're just corpses raised to undeath through some foul ritual. I've become very interested in one of them. You see, I studied the history of Sarkoris. Legend tells of a great ruler named Eilberigi. He was buried with his mighty sword, the Rage of Ice. Of course, most people think it's just a myth, but when the guards told me they defeated an undead that was wearing an ancient armor and wielding an ornate sword, I almost lost my mind. The guards don't want to go near the corpse again, even if he really is dead this time. But maybe you could bring me the Rage of Ice. Just think, we could prove that Eilberige, the master of Is, really existed. It'd be a breakthrough in historical research. Alright, I'll bring you the sword. I don't know how to thank you. A young man such as yourself must find it difficult to be stuck in one place for so long. Ragnar shakes his head sadly. A young man, you say? I've long forgotten how old I really am. By Pelura's grace, my body does not age, but my soul feels dry, as if I'm nothing more than an empty husk. I used to admire the stars, but now all I see are a collection of dim lights in the sky. I know their path by heart, but... He stops abruptly, but you're probably not interested in all that. Why do you have so many weapons? I collect ancient Sarkorian artifacts and study their history. We all find ways to escape the monotony of life in this temple. If we didn't, I think we'd lose our minds. Anyway, this is what I do. Thanks to Cabriri's cultists, there's plenty of material for me to study, though it's somewhat lacking in variety. Tell me more about the atrocities committed by Cabriri's cultists. Ragnar sighs. You must have seen them when the demons realized that the inhabitants of Is were fleeing down the river. Cultists of Cabriri, Lord of Ghouls, disturbed the slumber of the noble chieftains who were sent to their rest in the lake near the temple. The chieftains sailed an ornate barge to Pelura's temple and then were sent onto the waterfall. The waterfall is all dried up now, of course, but at the time it was part of a ritual ceremony. When they went on their final journey, the chieftains were dressed in their best armor, and their most prized weapons were placed at their side. They were also given a ritual dagger with an epitaph on the hilt. According to legends, the great chieftains were just sleeping, and they would never awaken whenever Sarkoris was threatened. The legends were true, in a manner of speaking. They woke up, and thanks to all the demons they destroyed, everyone who stood in their way. They still can't rest in peace, although the cultists have long since abandoned these lands. Luckily, the undead kills demons too. In some strange way, I suppose our ancestors are protecting us. I have to go. That's basically equivalent of, this is what I cooked for dinner. If you don't like it, no dinner for you. Men just can't understand what does mothers sacrifice, but you only ever get the kids' cake they don't like. So glad us mothers can band together. I'm glad those mothers have found a community on Twitch where we can just, be honest about everything. An elf stargazer is studying a pile of parchments. His appearance is disheveled. His attention seems to be entirely focused on the calculations in front of him. And again, I knew it. That confirms everything. When the elf notices your presence, he looks up from his work. The commander of Dresden, incredible! I never thought I'd hear those words. My name is Tariel. I'm a stargazer. Tell me this, Commander. You make the rules in Dresden, but do you also abide by them? I pretend I'm beyond reproach, but I secretly make allowances for me and my friends. Why would I tell that to anyone? Yes, as a commander, I must set an example for my soldiers. Harry looks at you in disbelief. Such noble words. It's been a long time since I've seen a leader who doesn't think they are above the rules. You must know the person I'm talking about, of course, Kater. Are you trying to accuse Kater of something? I've known him for ages, trust me. We were close friends for a long time. He certainly knows how to make a good impression, but if you look beyond his fake exterior, you'll begin to see the true nature. Ariel points to parchments, which are filled with columns of strange digits and symbols. Look for yourself, it's obvious. A week ago, it was the stone tree. 3 months ago, it was the outskirts of Winterson. And 20 years ago, it was the outside of Dresden. 50 years ago, it was Is, and finally, 70 years ago, the stone tree. I assume he is visiting someone, most likely a woman. Ariel glances at you and frowns. Ah, yeah, forgive me. I haven't spoken to anyone about this for a while. To me, this is clear as day, and I understand how you might find my calculations confusing. The stars tell me about Kater's movements, and I can assure you, sometimes he goes to places that are not filled with demons and cultists, but with wine and women. Take Dresden, for example. You see, Kater has forbidden everyone who remained in the temple from seeing their family. He says it's dangerous, and that we must keep the secret of our lair. Dale's lips curled with distaste. But for some reason, his rule doesn't apply to him. We all vow to stay within the walls and fulfill our duty, yet he gets to leave the temple whenever he wants. So what's he up to out there? I bet my life that he's going to see his wife, Emiris, or some other woman. What other reason could he have to go to the stone tree? Fucking Tony? Endaline more like Mothaline? Mothaline? Like the Mothman? Dresden was still under the control of demons 20 years ago. If you'd really been keeping an eye on Katir, you would know that. Ariel considers this. You're right. I keep forgetting what happened to Dresden. It's hard to remember everything, but on one thing I'm absolutely clear. Katir went to the stone tree 70 years ago, and I know that because we haven't spoken since then. A shadow falls across Teril's face, but his sadness quickly gives way to anger. Well, of course I have no need to keep track of his comings and goings. Why would I, when I don't speak to him? But when he's been away for so long, Aleandra asked me to check on him, make sure he's still alive. That's why I have these calculations. You see, it's nothing personal. I simply want what's best for the temple. What is a stone tree? It's a tall tree, withered and petrified even before the demons invaded. For some reason, it remains standing. I suppose it's a sacred place. They used to hold celebrations and weddings there. Imris and Katir got married there too, you know? So it all makes sense. Why don't you tell Aleandra that Katir is breaking the rules? Do you really think she'd believe me? You trust Katir more than any of us. She and Katir agree on everything. She'll always take his side. Alright, I'll find out where Katir goes. Ariel nods in satisfaction. Excellent. He definitely stopped at the stone tree. I wouldn't be surprised if he's cozying up to some beauty from Wintersun in a cave somewhere. He's probably feasting with her and laughing at us fools for trusting him. I have to go. Mother of Moth sounds like a boss fight. If you say it with my accent, it makes sense. Probably the best pun I've ever made. Motherline? Motherline? Well, 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 if it isn't Motherline. Oh. This dog stream has a pretty cool Wrath of the Righteous cam. Sounds dusty. Like he's reading a story to Bella. Well, Bella is the dog barking in the background. This guy's called Logan. That doesn't really look like a scabbard, but... And that girl back there is Alpha.
You require my counsel?
You require my assistance?
Any bags?
No.
Velvet Delirium gifted a tier 1 subscription to Compelled to Die.
Thank you so much, Velvet, for giving us to Compelled Live. Welcome to the bag. Enjoy all of your incredible emoji cones. I like Logan. Put overhead? Huh? Really gonna? Huh? Gifting subs? Yeah, who would do that? Looks above the chat. Thank you, Velvet. Never forget the dogs may be a big part of your life. For them, you are their life. Do you remember? Was there a door here too? Ah, there's. Logan is cow doggy. I have it on good authority. Cow doggy. So when you did the Logan cosplay, it was a combo cosplay of a dog and a cow. Tell me about Sarkoris. I would rather not answer that question. Katir winces and adds apologetically. I'm sorry, that was rude. It's just Not many can boast that their country has been wiped off the face of Galarian. Not conquered, not decimated, but wiped out, along with all of its people, cities, forests, and rivers. And I watched it happen with my own eyes. I don't want to remember what everything was before. What everything was like before. Do you know anything about Arella Warless and the opening of the World Wound? May that witch be damned for all eternity, along with her progeny, if she has any. Yes, I know about her, though not much. There was no respect for arcane magic in Sarkoris. There were reasons for our distrust. Divine spellcasters always have someone above them, someone who can control them. A dishonorable priest or a paladin will lose their power immediately. Even with the priest of an evil god, an enemy, you still always know who they are and what to expect from them. But there is no higher authority for wizards. Nothing limits their might, or their experiments with the very essence of the world. Our elders tried to control this chaos as best they could, but they did not wish to be harsh. They did not execute offenders on the spot, they simply put them in prison. Wizards weren't even forbidden from practicing magic, they simply had to do it under supervision. But with the Relu, everything went wrong. The witch managed to reach out to Descari directly from the fortress where she was being held, then served up her country on a silver platter to the Lords of the Abyss. How do you manage to keep your life in the temple a secret? We made everyone believe that Pelura's fall was destroyed along with Sarkoris. We staged the destruction of the temple. It was 100 years ago now, but those of us who had families didn't even get to say goodbye. We couldn't let anyone from the outside world know that we were still alive and hiding in the temple. Since then, only a few of the most experienced rangers are allowed to leave the temple and go on raids. We do it secretly, pretending to be crusaders or cultists, and we go to great lengths to ensure we are not followed. So far, our tactics have been successful. We've survived here for 100 years, and I hope things continue that way. I have to go. I really want to get a dog, but I'm not sure if I should. Living alone, I'm not sure how I feel leaving them alone for 9 hours a day for work. I think, I don't think it's a big problem as long as you can. I mean, 9 hours is a lot, but I think as long as you can make sure that it's not more than 9 hours consistently. I think the biggest problem is just if you get like a puppy, then you definitely can't leave them alone for 9 hours. Once they get a bit bigger, like closer to like half a year old or a year old, it's not. I don't think it's really a big problem, but it depends on the dog breed too. But they get used to it for sure. Like when I first got Logan, I was also working a job, but I was gone for 8-9 hours every day too, and it wasn't really a big problem. I just put him in a little dog enclosure or cage, and then came back and like they get really used to it. It just becomes like, as long as it's consistent, it's just something the dogs get used to. But it depends on the dog breed, of course. Some dog breeds, obviously, you can't leave alone for 9 hours because they're like, they might have a lot of energy. Logan is an award-winning world traveling stud, and that is but a butt scratcher for him. Is Logan coming to England again? I don't think so, but I guess anything is possible. I think he did his last show last year. Hello, Dirt. Staffies are really, really good family dogs and good like average person dogs because they don't need a lot of attention, and they're like the cats of the dog world. They just sleep a lot. Someone has put a plate of food scrapped in a hole in the wall, hoping some tame some small animal. Norris' greatest staffy, father of 1,000 broods. There are staffies with way more children than him. Hello, Dad? Huh? Okay. Alpha thought I was signaling for her to get pets. Oh, well. I don't think I would like You know, it's hard to like recommend getting a dog if you don't feel like you have enough time for them, of course. But I don't know. I mean, my perspective usually on things like pets is that like if you feel like you can take care of a pet pretty decently, then you're probably gonna do better than most people with pets. Like, those pets are gonna exist no matter what you do, so you feel like you do a pretty decent job with it, then
Trust in yourself.
I finished here.
Damn.
Is there more?
A tiny old woman runs her fingers along the tops of several magic scrolls and her lips moving silently. Who are you? The old woman squints short-sightedly. And who are you? The voice is not familiar. The voice is not familiar, and I can't see your face. No, I don't know you. My name is Vigdis. I was once a junior priest of Pelura, and now I manage the temple's resources and provisions. I put everything where it belongs and keep it safe. If you were once a priestess of Pelura, why aren't you stargazers like everyone else? The old woman laughs. My stargazing days are over. I only see what's under my nose. Lady Pelura has decided my old eyes should have some rest after all these years. Are you a traitor? A traitor? No. There's no trade in the temple. Who would trade with us? I make sure everyone is fed and their needs are met. Whenever anyone brings anything to temple, they give it to me. Have you brought me something? Or perhaps it's the opposite, and there's something you wish to take. Everyone is free to take what they need. But if I want to take everything? Then you must have a great need. Everything belongs to everybody. So what the temple has in the stores. You may take or leave whatever you wish. Everything here is as much yours as it is ours. The hell? Oh, these guys are down bad, huh? I'm getting a hamster soon. I have no idea how to look after one, so that's my reading tonight. Hamsters are pretty cool. I think the biggest thing with getting any like small are hamsters rodents? But getting any like small animal like that is just to make sure you like give them a lot of attention. Logan! Hi! Dude! Hold up! Dude! Hi! Hold up! Dude! Stop! Hi! Stop! Norwegian curses as a really stupid dog. Oh, it's so fucking obnoxious. Dog is being naughty, but well, he's like entangled in the headphone cord and he's trying to like jump away, but have thrown everything off the table. Now my arm's gonna be covered in scratches. I don't know if you can see it, but Owie, yeah, that's gonna be Owie, alright. A ton of rats at work that I'm considering taming to unleash a legion of rats upon the world and laugh from my throne of rodents. I don't think you need to tame rats to unleash a legion of them. I think they do that automatically. Can I have one? Only if you use... Only if I can use you as emergency food. I'm full of cake. I'd be a hearty meal. 1 second, I'm gonna... So we can, like, destroy the headphone cord. Now we fit in with the cool emo crowd. I don't know if they care about the scratches, but if they do, I got them covered. The first place I've been sending my Legion of Rats is Deb's house. Yeah, the biggest problem I had racing like smaller animals, like bunnies and rats, was not like giving them enough attention when we got them, because they didn't get used to humans, which kind of sucks. That would be my like biggest recommendation for anyone that wants to get like a hamster or whatever. Just be like, give them a heckin' ton of attention when you get them. They get really used to humans and human contact. Otherwise, they're really annoying to take care of. But I had a dream in which a dog chewed up a cool new charging cable I got. Luckily, my dogs don't chew on cables and stuff. Logan was like, the cable's like wrapped around him, and the cable, my cable goes like under my keyboard, behind the monitor, and then to the computer. So if he continued there, the best case is that the cable is pulled loose. That's the best case. Worst case is he literally pulls my entire computer off the table. This dog therapy stream is the best treatment. Oh, Windows has been warning me that my mouse is about to run out of batteries for like 2 days now. Oh, there's a thing here. I have no idea why my subconscious is so concerned about such a thing. Hey, maybe you're about to get a dog. Am I supposed to leave this here, or...? You told me to hide...
I'm off!
Oh. Am I supposed to ambush the traitor? The entire guy was just hiding behind this rock. I'm not sure if I'm a guinea pig or a hamster. I don't actually know what the difference is, if I'm going to keep it a stack. I'd watch Deb dog streams, hell yeah. A dark figure stealthily approaches the drop location. In dim light, you can see it's a middle-aged man. He looks around furtively as if he reached for the letter. Looking for something? The man jumps like a startled rabbit. He looks terrified. Are you the commander from Dresden? I was just taking a walk. My name is Vestari. Pleased to meet you. Okay, this is a DC 23. I'm rolling at a plus 43. I don't even know why I'm rolling at a plus 43, but I am. Why are you mumbling? Tell me the truth or I'll shake it out of you. Yeah. Oh yeah. Very. I was muted. He does know Pepolo. Well, listen, I was just reading what you guys said anyway, and you can all read that yourselves. I was curious why the day Deb gets a dog is the day I fly to Australia. I think considering what pet we get based on its nutritional value could be important. You know, you never know when you're in an apocalyptic situation and you need to mass breed your pets in order to sustain yourself and your family in your nuclear bunker. Alright, Vestari sighs deeply. Oh right, you don't live in the temple, so there's no need to hide anything from you. I'm breaking the law, but I haven't betrayed anyone. It's quite the opposite, actually. You should come with me and ask Christy about the meaning of the note. Christy always says she doesn't want to hide anymore, so I'll maybe telling you will help ease your conscience. Christry. Speak with Christry? That makes sound like I'm suggesting you are a dog, but that's not it. Oof, oof, oof. I got a rotisserie chicken. Speak with Christry. I hear. Christry greets you with anxious, as if expecting the worst. Are you the commander from Dresden? Although I don't know why I asked. It's not like you could be anyone else. Listen, Christry, the commander, right? I don't think the commander wishes us harm. If you want to ease your conscience, tell him everything. Hand over the letter. Vetsari said you can decipher this letter. Christry takes the shard. Of course, because I'm the one who put the constellation there in the first place. The lantern bearer is the warden, so it means guard. The stranger is an observing eye, so that means we've been exposed. And a sleeping Tarask means we need to lie low and be more cautious. Christy looks at you, her face a mixture of hope and defiance. Sorry, said you want to confess something to Aleandra. Christy nods. Yes, I want to confess to Aleandra that our entire community, that Vestari and I love each other. We've loved each other for so long, we're practically an old married couple. Aleandra is against romantic reunions because she thinks tempestuous passions will cause division in our community, but she doesn't understand the nature of love. You can discipline the flesh, but you can't restrain the soul. Not that Aleandra would believe us, but Vestari and I really did try to resist our feelings. We made a vow to stay away from one another, to never again break the rules, Christy sighs, but the bond between us proved stronger than our resolve. Perhaps it's the will of the stars, and despite everything that's happened, we are simply two halves that are meant to be one whole. If Sarkoris hadn't fallen, we'd have lived happily and freely. We wouldn't have to hide, and we wouldn't have to exchange stupid notes. Those notes aren't stupid. Do you really want us to be torn apart, forbidden from seeing one another? Aliana's kind and wise leader, I will persuade her not to stand in the way of your love. Christy looks at you doubtfully. I've known her longer than you, of course. Aleandra is kind, but she is also very stubborn. Once she has made a decision, there's no point trying to exchange her mind. She and Kater are much alike in that regard, except he always does what's right, and she always does what her heart tells her. And of course, her heart has told her that love should be forbidden, supposedly for the sake of peace in the community. These stupid rules haven't helped anyone to find peace. I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of people there. Wouldn't you want them to, like... How would you even stop people from engaging with each other like that? More of when hell freezes over. Oh, okay, I get you. Because you're making light of me being terrified of flying and not being able to visit my friends abroad. Yeah, that's way better, Zeb. I make it like my favorite notes. Yes. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Very good. Naturally. Naturally. I want to talk to you about Stargazers, Astari and Christie. And they are not of bad size. Astari and Christie, my dear rebels, you must think I'm harsh for enforcing such strict rules here in the temple. But such measures are necessary. When you live through decades of its isolation in such a small community, shut off from the rest of the world, love and all the jealousy, discord, quarrels, and breakups that go along with it could result in genuine disaster. Astari and Christie are the living embodiment of such a disaster. I love them with all my heart, like they are my own children. However, before the temple's hidden 100 years ago, they could have 5 quarrels and 6 reconciliations all between one moonrise and the next. At other times, they would go a month without talking to one another. That created quite a problem. The Stargates are supposed to share their observations and research. This carried on for years until, after a particular Republic fracas, I decided to forbid all romantic relationships in the temple. It was an impulsive decision, I admit, but it was not made without reason. I was trying to maintain peace in our community, and I was also concerned with the feelings of others. Many of those you see here, Auden, Tariel, and even Kater himself, parted with their families for the sake of our mission. It is unfair for them to be the only ones so painfully deprived. So, that's why love and relationships are not forbidden in the community, and as you can see, the rules are largely a result of Astari and Chris's own actions. You've lived there for many years, you've become a family. Does a family reward love with punishment? Astari and Christie have loved each other for a long time. It's not just a sudden whim. They deserve your acceptance. Eliandra is on for a long time. I'm afraid this decision will be the most difficult for Auden, Tariel, and the others who have lost their families. It may also cause chaos in the future, but perhaps you're right. We should not try to thwart the desires of the heart. I will inform the community about the change to the rules. Good.
I'm gone.
I'm glad I've enabled sex in the temple of Odin, not Odin, of whatever. Pelura. Christian and Vasari stand together, showing a united front. They are not holding hands, but you can feel the unbreakable bond between them. I told Eliandra about everything. She won't stand in your way. Eliandra agreed to change the rules? For us? That doesn't sound like her, but I guess we have all changed over the years. Thank you. We'll never forget the kindness you and the High Priestess have shown us. The defiance fades from Chris's eyes. I know how you could convince her, but I think you worked a miracle. I guess Eliandra really does care about us. I admit I was wrong. Thank you. Nice. You know, if this was Baldur's Gate 3, there would be a sex scene there. The pack? Oh. What the hell is this? Yoink, mine now. A dark-haired woman is absorbed in sketching an assortment of dagger blades lying on the ground before her. The thick sketchbook beside her are also filled with drawings of weapons. Suddenly aware that she is being watched, the woman looks up from her work with an exclamation of surprise. A visitor in the temple! Your weaponry is so interesting. I'm sorry. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Nidalava, priestess of Pelura, mistress of the stars and farewells. What can you tell me about this place? Coastal used to live in a cave all the time, but they can see the stars from there. That's the plot point. They said, oh, we can still see the stars from here. Nothing that you couldn't learn from others. This is an ancient temple, one of the most sacred in all Sarkoris. After the wound opened, it turned into a secret enclave of resistance. Of course, we don't fight the demons directly, but our knowledge will help us to defeat them someday. Once for all, who better to take up such a burden than us? Of course, we did not expect Lady Pelura to prolong our mortal lives, but I'm glad of her gift. I would gaze at the stars from another 100, even another 200 years, if it would help us succeed in our mission. What are you doing? By stroke of luck, I came across some blades belonging to ritual daggers. They were just lying in a box in some dusty corner. Just imagine Sarkorian art, stored away in the temple and then forgotten. This is what I do with my spare time. I gather the items that once made our nations famous. I make sketches, and whatever I cannot find, I draw from memory. During the first 20 years of our imprisonment, I sketched our traditional clothing and our adornments. I tried to account for all the clans, even those that had perished or disappeared before the opening of the World Wound. Luckily, items from all across Sarkoris are stored in our temple. They were once brought as gifts for the funeral rites of the chieftains. Then I switched to cookware and then to wood carvings. The wood carvings took me almost half a century, since that was one of the main art forms practiced in Sarkoris. Now I have moved onto weapons. When I finished, it will be the most complete collection of sketches on the subject of Sarkorian art. At the very least, these items will be preserved on paper, if nowhere else. I found an unusual dagger on an undead corpse, not far from the temple. Nila's eyes light up. Oh, I recognize the workmanship. The dagger's like... Didn't I find that on a bed? Daggers like this tell the story of our great pride and our great sorrow. Did you know this temple used to be a gate through which the Sarkorian chieftains passed into eternity? And the rivers flowed with water, barges would depart from this, carrying the bodies of the deceased chieftains. Once the bodies arrived here and the proper rituals were observed, the dead were sent on their final journey. The burial barge would be set on fire, and the chieftains would set off on their last journey aboard the flaming vessel. I myself performed such rites for two chieftains, but the world wound did not spare our sacred waterfall or our dead. When the water began to dry up, our cultists of Cabreri turned the bodies of the chieftains into undead. We sheltered behind the walls of our temple, and all the while knowing that our noble chieftains had been made into monsters. They roamed the area, killing the refugees who were trying to flee the dying Sarkoris. What an ignominious end. Nidalov's voice sounds more angry than sad. Forgive me. This wound has not yet healed, and likely never will. But if you can, bring peace to our chieftains, and bring me their weapons. At least 21 of the monsters raised by the cultists still remain. What can you tell me about your leaders, Eliandra and Katir? They certainly know how to make an impression, don't they? They are as different as day is to night, but that is their strength, and therefore ours as well. Katir is our protector. He is as a rock, an anchor against the storm, holding fast against the tide of demon hordes. Eliandra is our guiding star. She has been our leader to our others since childhood, and I should know. I followed her here to the temple. I have to go. Speaking of dogs, I don't think I have been
sense something.
forced to kill more dogs in Belgium 1 than every other game I've played combined. Dog killing games. I mean, that probably makes sense. Dogs are such like a generic but ordinary enemy in the older, in like 3.5 and 2e and stuff. Just back to the wild dogs over there attacking. That makes sense. It's probably one of those like they already modeled the dogs, have them like around cities and stuff. They're like, oh, let's have some dog models. And they're like, oh, we might as well make them enemies. Okay. It's a big eat. If you call a character Drist and you get your reputation abysmal low, the actual Drist will hunt you down and attack you for ruining his reputation. I remember trying to fight Drist. I remember it not being an easy fight. But I think the meme is that if you fight Driss and kill him, you get like really, really powerful equipment, don't you? I think he has some giga powerful equipment on him. I think you can cheese him to death. In the Western Mountains, there dwelled a clan whose name is no longer spoken today. They were brave and hardy people who would go down in the deep caves and return laden with glittering ore. The clan flourished. It had all things in abundance, including hot food and honey, because their neighbors gladly brought the things they forged from the underground ore. Trouble came to the clan one last day of Calistry, when the mountain passes were ready to shake off winter's icy grip. Like hounds, local Norwegian destroys. Waking from a long sleep. Clamor and clouds of dust rose up from the caves that night. Once the dust had settled, the miners went down to look, but they were brave people who feared neither darkness nor falling rocks. But what they found wasn't not darkness or a cave-in. What they found was the pack. Local Norwegian psychopath terrorizes his dog. This is gonna be a theme with all my clips being being dog related. The followers, whose true name had been forgotten generations before, was a clan of blood. The followers was a despicable sorcerer, a degenerate who had turned his back on his ancestors. He had loved the daughter of the wise clan, Patriarcha, most ardently, but her heart had held no warmth for him. The followers had stormed into the dark depths of the caves, seething in resentment, and much wailing and berating plotted his revenge. That is where the dread pack found him. Following the scent of profane magic and vice, the pack devoured him, and in so doing, tasted human blood for the first time and discovered it was to its liking. The pack killed the miners who descended into the caves, and thereafter it began venturing up the surface each night to devour one of the villages before dragging the carcass back to the caves to gnaw on the bones. The wise patriarch called the clan together in the long house and spoke. Then the eldest of the clan spoke, and then the warriors, and then anyone could say their piece. The ancestors had revealed to the patriarch that the clan was being punished by gods for failing to recognize the degenerate sorcerer in their midst, and that no deity would intercede for them now. Lamenting their fate, the clan left their homes, the ancestors carved images and their temples to the gods, and fled. The caravan of grief made its way in silence, but not all the clans was represented among its number. Only women, children, and decrepit elders did it contain, for the strong men of the clan had remained behind. Many days they sat in the longhouse, sharpening their weapons and praying. Each night one of the men would go down into the caves to satisfy the pack's hunger with his own flesh. When all the men were dead and the pack's hunger drove it out to the surface, the caravan was already long gone, and the monster could not pick up their trail. The caravan traveled day and night, without rest until it reached the very edge of their known world, whence the peaks of their beloved mountains could no longer be seen. And there they settled, living threadbare, meager lives because they did not know how to rear animals and live the nomadic life that required. And because they had no strong warriors among them, the clan quickly dwindled. They all died, and the young found husbands and wives in other clans and left to join new households. Years later, during one of the harsh steppe winters, the clan patriarch fell sick and died in the arms of his daughter, and no one could recall the location of that house where the clan had once resided in such freedom and dignity. The final page of the book had been roughly torn out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The concept of the cosmic caravan, which makes its way across the night sky throughout the year and consists of 13 constellations, comes to us from Aslant. The order in which the caravan signs are arranged holds both a metaphorical and deeply mystical meaning, in light of which astrologists advise against the use of models where the signs appear out of order, or even in reverse order, as in some cases. Ooh, reverse order. The thrush is a sign associated with the friendship, hospitality, a promise of new beginnings, and song. The constellation portrays a songbird sitting on a branch and greeting the very cosmic caravan at the start of the new year. The thrush is the patron of merrymakers and optimists. The lantern bearer is the constellation that begins the caravan's procession. The lantern bearer goes forth, chasing back winter's darkness and lighting the cosmic caravan's way. The sign is disposed towards cheerful, self-sacrificing, and altruistic personalities. The Newlyweds depicts a young husband and wife whose appearance heralds the beginning of spring. The Newlyweds boldly leads the cosmic caravan, for they are guarded by love and youth. This sign favors those who possess a passionate or romantic nature. The Bridge is a constellation that symbolizes change. The bridge soars over tempestuous waters and links one snowy, cold shore with another, where spring has already arrived and green shots are already stretching skyward. This is a sign of obstinate, tenacious personalities who do not fear the dark and cold. The Daughter is a young girl who signifies the pure joy and enthusiasm that spring days bring. The Daughter smiles on matters related to merriment, solace, and celebrating holidays. The Rider on the Storm is the mounted warrior who guards the cosmic caravan. It is a combative and contradictory sign that favors both valiant defenders and rash, bloodthirsty bandits. The row of the Rider marks the beginning of summer's heat. The Patriarch is the wise and ancient father of the cosmic caravan who knows its route and sets the course of its journey. This constellation symbolizes wisdom and experience that favors judicious and sagacious nature. The Wagon, the heavily loaded and foundational wagon, is what gives the cosmic caravan its name. It is associated with the spirit of enterprise, diligence, and, of course, swiftness. Personalities drawn to travel and selfless service will find succor under its sign. The Pack is a group of beasts that trail the cosmic caravan and feed off its bounty. Some sages believe the pack consists of wild dogs that have been tamed by caravans travelers, and that therefore the pack represents family ties, affinity with nature, and mastery over fauna. Others argue the pack is a swarm of vermin feasting on the leavings of the cosmic caravan and greedily coveting the travelers' cooking pots. In its interpretation, the sign takes on a darker, more predatory aspect. The Mother. The caring and gentle mother dominates the sky when it's time to bring in rich harvest. Her tender hands hold on to summer's warmth and promises protection against winter's harsh breath. Many scholars agree that the Mother also fulfills the role of spiritual guide for the cosmic caravan, and therefore they ascribe to her patronage those who are of spiritual or nurturing disposition. The Stargazer. Bringing up the rear, the Stargazer completes the caravan's procession. A wistful dreamer, the Stargazer is a patron to those of a similar nature, aloof, spacious in matters important to the far removed, yet absent-minded and inept in daily life. It is unsurprising that many scholars possess an affinity for the sign. The Stranger is an enigmatic and foreboding sign that reigns in the night sky for little more than a week. A solitary traveler who follows the cosmic caravan at a distance. The Stranger reveals nothing as to its intent. The Stranger is an outsider, a wayfarer, and many personalities disposed to a life of wandering fall under patron of this sign. The Stranger is a sign of contradictions. Some see it as the patron of all adventurers, while others interpret the sign as a grim harbinger of the constellations that follow it. Oh. My bad. The Follower is the dark figure that pursues the cosmic caravan, a disciple of dark forces who is associated with death and darkness. The Follower waxes in power at Winter's Peak. There are various interpretations of the sign. According to some, the Follower is an exile, cursed and banished from the caravan. Others see the Follower as a fearsome enemy, and it is flight from this foe that forces the cosmic caravan on its perpetual journey. Still others claim that this sign represents death itself. Predictably, those of the dark disposition who possess affinities for death fall under the auspices of the Follower.
We must stop this war. There is no hope, only us. The gods have abandoned. What was I saying just now? Wanna play together?
A success worthy of praise.
Damn. I give 1% experience. Not filled with ephemeridis, data about the movement of celestial bodies. Data seems to have been gathered over centuries.
Follow if you dare.
Last room.
I'm glad I was useful to you.
Okay, let's do this in reverse order.
We should move.
As a meme. I like the quickest way to do this would just be to note it down on my second monitor. Thrush, Lantern, Newlyweds, Bridge, Daughter, Rider, Patriarch. Wagon, Pack, Mother, Stargazer, Stranger. Follower. Alright, what if we do it in reverse order, like they told us not to do? Oh. Oh, they're literally here in order? Oh.
I'm off.
Weird. Savings. I finished talking to the temple's inhabitants. Can we conduct the ritual now? Are you sure after ritual you'll have to leave? Ooh. Wait, so if I want to do the quest I got here, I have to do that first? But she wants 21 ceremonial daggers. There's no shot of that. Am I supposed to go get those daggers before I do the ritual, I guess? Just a little blood rain. Never hurt anyone.
I refuse to accept their statement.
Oh no. I need that word. Oh my god.
Don't hold back!
I will resist.
I'm not. I'm not dealing with losing 800 levels in one fight. Because I didn't cast a spell. No way. No way, Jose. I mean, my
I'm
bad.
gone.
My bad, I
I'm
guess, but
always
still.
ready.
You require my counsel.
Prove my worth.
Wise.
Inimosi tradisi, inimosi tradisi, inimosi tradisi.
Anything new? Soot is restless. I wonder why.
Axis, yes. Esmith, axis, yes. Esmith, axis, yes.
Yes.
Ane, u, efna. U, efna.
What the hell is this?
Ane, u, efna.
You are
Oh,
my favorite age.
Heroism.
Ala, swa, damn. Ala, swa, damn. Ala, swa, damn. Ala, swa, damn.
I'm always open to ideas.
Esmith, axis, yes.
You think this build type of thing that you get a... Doesn't Kirushan have boots? What do you mean? Oh! Right, I completely remember buying these, of course. I, of course, completely remember buying those.
I will resist.
Wait, what? Oh, because it's a crit. Okay, gotcha. Like, what the hell happened there? Oh, I should cast Death Ward on the Trikey, I guess.
Don't hold back!
I am Ulbrigsun. Does it give me a full attack? Because of a little bit of health. Probably worth it. I'm probably should I move everyone in here. I'll now think about it with Ember. Pretty good. I'm just gonna delay. I think they'll probably kill everything here anyway. No reason to do spell slots.
Prepare yourself.
Strike!
I may be Regil, but I'm not a Regile.
Retreat is not an option.
Nice. Oh, that's a lot of layers.
Surrender, or else!
I forgot to mount out.
Kneel before me.
Oh yeah. So.
You should have run!
Desna, guide my hand.
This will be quick.
Oh my god. An elder elemental.
Make your peace.
That's right.
This one's mine.
This motherfucker gonna fuck me up?
This will hurt!
Oh, there's another one. Oh my god.
I will resist.
It blended with the environment around it.
Press the attack.
Why I don't get what am I using level 4 spell slots with this?
Don't hold back!
Yo, what's up, Mad Pineapple? Why are you beating up the elderly? I'm him. I'm him. Worn out pages from a Sokoran book. Years later, into the mountain valley, which many years had lain uninhabited and had fallen into a state of desolation, rode the prideful rider. His steed was wild and fleet, his tall steps shone like a gilded mask, and his sharply curved bow could strike from thrice times 300 paces away. Dauntlessly did the rider ride into the remains of the settlement, and, drawing up beside the stone pillars into which were carved the images of the ancestors, he bowed low before them. And then he sized open his palm and blooded those same stones. Then the rider unbridled his mount and sent him off, for the loyal companion would be of no use to him in the cramped caves. The rider checked his bowstring, descended to the depths and sat down in the largest of the caves and waited. Soon the pack appeared. They were hungry, wasted, and as such even more vicious, for it had been long since they had eaten the human flesh they so favored. But the rider pulled the bowstring tight and let fly arrow after arrow. The darkness was no obstacle as he used sound to guide his arm, until each down to the very last was stuck full. Perishing the last of the pack, creatures opened its maw and in the faller's voice asked, "Who are you, mighty rider? Who does not fear to tread here and end my cursed and rotten life? Tell me your name, my lord, and tell me from what noble clan do you hail?" The rider moved his tall helm, with his gilded mask and long braids tumbled free from beneath it. He was no man, but the daughter of the wise patriarch. On the brink of death made her swear one final vow, a vow of vengeance. For years she had roamed, bearing in her heart cold malice and rigorous fury for all righteous fury for all sorcerers and their ilk. For years her arrows had cut down despicable sorcerers, while her conviction had only grown in strength and certainty. And at last the hour had come for her to return and avenge the clan whose name has now been condemned to obscurity. She did not answer the dying monster, for vile sorcerers are undeserving of even a word from a worthy person's lips. She burned the pack's stinking bodies, left the cave, bowed before the ancestors one last time, and departed never to again to return. Okay. I can probably find her Gigabow somewhere. That's my takeaway from that.
We do it my way.
What if you did it your way
It's time
or
to
the
act.
highway, Kiryu? What do you think about that? I may be Regil, but I'm not Regile.
I will defend my dream. Prepare yourself.
Charge! Was that the stone tree? Okay. So I have 8 level 4 spells right now. I just don't know what this I'm not understanding. These combinations grant a rare ability to cast Scorching Ray 3 times per day as a 12th level caster. But I can cast this